Hello, everyone. Eric Clemens at our ESPN Sports Center studios joined Bill, Patrick, and me immediately following Baseball Tonight. We'll have updates on the upsets at the U.S. Open. We'll also update the baseball pennant races and have a Big Apple debut for the newest New York Met. And we'll also update you on this final weekend of NFL preseason action. It's all on Sports Center coming up at 11:30 p.m. immediately following Baseball Tonight. Join us, won't you?
Tonight in baseball, Hers Heroics as a first-day Met puts the Pirates on their mettle. Win or lose first place. In Fenway, Hawkins pitches and boom! Do the Bo Sox love this guy or what? And baseball remembers Bart Giamatti a year after his death. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Baseball Tonight. I'm Dave Marish. Ray Knight and I've got a lot of baseball to tell you about, starting with tonight's high-stakes game at the Astrodome. Pittsburgh Pirates coming into this game tied with the New York Mets. A win, they hold on to first place. A loss, they're number 2. And all the burden on recently called-up rookie Randy Tomlin, who took on veteran Jim Deshaies tonight at the Astrodome. Let's take a look at highlights. Pirates trying to keep a hold on first place in the NL East. Third inning, Astros runners on second and third with 1 out. Randy Tomlin pitches to Caminiti, who sends a ground ball to third. The throw home gets Jim Deshaies easily. Sixth inning, game tied at 1. Mark Davidson, ground ball to King, who bobbles it, can't make the throw in time, and 2 batters later, Dave Rohde hits another one to King, goes through his legs. Shortstop Jay Bell hustles over and throws Davidson out at the plate. This ball game is still tied 1-1. Do those Pirates want it or what? Tomlin's still working, there's power now on in relief of Tomlin, and Dave Smith is on for Deshaies in that ball game. Caminiti had the RBI for Houston. Don Slaught, a sacrifice fly for Pittsburgh. The Mets put all the pressure on the Pirates tonight, winning this afternoon at Shea 6-5 over San Francisco. Darryl Strawberry got things off in the first inning. Mike Kingery reached but couldn't quite get it. The 2-run homer put the Mets up 2-0, and then in the third, Darryl tried to do it again. This time it's Brett Butler at the base of the wall leaping, and he makes the catch. Giants did come back within 4-3, but then Tommy Hearn, his first game as a New York Met, hit his 5th home run of the year. Mets go up 5-3, and Tommy takes a curtain call. Bottom of the 8th, runners on first and third, and here's the ball game, Ray, as Jeffries makes both a mental and a physical error on the same play.
Well, Dave, he had a 2-run lead, so that's an obvious double play ball. He should have went for 2, but once he makes his mind to go home in that situation, he should have went ahead and given the ball up to the catcher and then let him run back to third base, but he hesitated, and you're right, he made 2 mistakes.
So John Franco had to come in and face Ernest Riles, and here, Ray, is how it should be done. Tommy Hearn and Charlie O'Brien.
Well, watch Charlie O'Brien block the plate here. Both legs right down on top of him. What a play on both ends.
And Al Harrison says, hey, I'm the genius who got both of those guys this week. New York 6, San Francisco 5, the final. The Giants' 5th loss in 6 games. Tommy Hearn's first game as the Mets, he went 2 for 3, hit his 5th home run, and had that key fielding play in the 8th inning. Strawberry's home run number 30. Later, he had a double, knocked in the winning run with his 1,000th career hit. The Mets rookie Julio Valera got the start, and the win went 6, 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Checking the National League East standings right now, Pittsburgh and New York are dead even, pending the outcome of that game in the Astrodome. Pittsburgh and Houston tied up 1-1. Montreal is now 6.5 games back. Lou Pinella's Red Machine is humming along again. Today, the Reds took their 8th win in their last 11, routing the Cubs 8-1 as Rick Mailer pitched a complete game 4-hitter. Beautiful day at Wrigley and across the street as well, and that's what Eric Davis had in mind. In the second inning, leading off the inning, sends it over the fence into Waveland Avenue off of Jose Nunez. 1-0 Reds. Top of the fourth, Davis sends this one bouncing into the ivy, and Barry Larkin comes home to score, and it's 2-0 Reds. That's enough for Don Zimmer. He's down 4-1, brings in Mitch Williams, and is then victimized by the passed ball. That allows Larkin to score again, and 2 batters after that. Mariano Duncan triples to left field. This one bouncing away from the defender there. Davis and Reed both scored. Reds went on to win it 8-1 on Mickey Mailer's complete game win. Eric Davis went 3 for 4, including that 18th home run. He had 3 RBIs. Mariano Duncan also 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Mailer went all the way, 4 hits, 1 run, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. In Montreal, Miracle Mike Hartley, unbeaten as a starter, went for the Dodgers tonight against Oil Can Boyd of the Expos, but it was the Can who did the kicking today. Expos beat the Dodgers 6-0 on a 3-hit complete game shutout from the Can. Oil Can also struck out 8. Mike Fitzgerald, the hitting hero, 3 for 4 and 2 RBIs. Andres Galarraga had his 17th home run and a pair of ribbies. Lenny Harris had 2 hits for the Dodgers. Checking the standings in the NL West, Cincinnati leading the Dodgers by 6.5 now. San Francisco up the creek at 9.5 and all but dead. Ray, there's been a lot of acquiring, wheeling, and dealing this week, and nobody's done it better than the Mets. Pat Tabler, solid professional hitter. Charlie O'Brien, good defensive catcher. But the guy who will play every day in September is second baseman Tommy Herr. He's got to fit in with the New York Mets.
Well, Tommy Herr fits in anywhere. He's a consummate pro, Dave. He does so many things well. You remember in 1985, he had 110 RBIs for the Cardinals. He can hit, he can play defense, he can turn a double play. One of the smartest baseball players I've ever played against. Does everything well. Very seldom will you see him make a mistake. Today, with the infield back, he was able to turn that play and nail that runner at home plate. Not very many second basemen would try that.
Now, as good as Tommy Herr is, the second baseman the Mets really wanted was Billy Doran, but Doran wanted no part of New York, so he went home to Cincinnati. And that's kind of mysterious because the Reds' Mariano Duncan is having a career year at second, and Ron Oster's already on the base. So where does Doran fit in?
Well, I don't really know. You know, I've made a couple phone calls tonight trying to find out exactly why this deal was made. I know Bill Doran wanted to play at home. Everybody wants to go home, but I really can't understand it. The only thing that I found out that Mariano Duncan, although he's having a great offensive year, has a tough time defensively. Billy Doran turns the double play as well as anybody. Great defensive catalyst. Again, hustles, plays baseball as hard as anybody. One of my favorite players. Great presence in the clubhouse. You're not going to lie down with Billy Doran on your ball club. I suspect that if Mariano Duncan, with the great offensive year he's having, if Billy Doran is healthy, he's had some knee problems and back problems, just 31 years old. With him healthy, that would free Mariano Duncan up to be moved sometimes late this year or early next year.
They say if it ain't broke, you don't fix it, but the Reds have, and we'll see how that works out. Speaking of acquisitions, the Oakland A's with Willie McGee and Harold Baines hosted the Texas Rangers today and sent Kurt Young out to face the very hottest pitcher in baseball, Bobby Witt, whose last loss came on June 17th. Top of the third inning, Rangers are leading 2-0 when Pete Incaviglia bounces to Young. His throw catches the base runner Jeff Kunkel in the pickle, but when the throw goes to Mark McGwire, he drops it and Kunkel scores. Rangers lead 3-0. Meanwhile, Bobby Witt was having one of those days. He walked Willie Randolph and Harold Baines and Carney Lansford and Mark McGwire. In fact, he walked 10 and 4 times had the bases loaded. So what did Witt do about it? Oh, well, he struck out Jose Canseco here and Ricky Henderson there and Mark McGwire this time and Jamie Quirk that time. 10 Ks to go with the 10 walks, and Witt wins his 11th in a row. 14 straight starts without a loss. Texas beats Oakland 3-2. And Witt now 14-8, went 7, 4 hits, 2 runs, as we say, 10 of each, walks and strikeouts. By the way, for Oakland, Todd Burns was great in relief. He went 6 2/3 shutout innings, just 2 hits. 2 RBIs from Palmeiro, 2 from Jamie Quirk for Oakland. Meanwhile, those pesky White Sox, who are the second best team in the major leagues, moved to win 5.5 by beating California. Top of the 4th inning with a 4-1 lead. Fletcher doubled to right, part of a 3-for-5 day that had Doug Rader saying, can't this game end early? Bottom of the 8th, 9-3 Sox. And here's a little bit of an angel rally. A little dinker off the bat of Louis Polonia drops in, makes it 9-4 as Jack Howell comes in to score. Then Ken Patterson walked in another runner, and that brought in Bobby Thigpen, who pitched to Dave Winfield, who smacked it right back to Thigpen to first, double play, and this is save number 46. And that ties Thigpen with Dave Righetti for the all-time Major League record for saves. Carlton Fisk got his 14th home run in this ball game, and the DP combination of Fletcher and Guillen combined for 5 hits and 6 RBIs for the White Sox. Melito Perez, who was braced by a recent vote of confidence from his manager Jeff Torborg, won a strong 7 hits, 2 runs, and 5 strikeouts in that ball game. Coming up, the Beantown Explosion and some other action from the American League East, a Saturday night pair and other National League stuff, and recollections of a fallen commissioner. First, though, we're going to go inside the numbers on the record book for saves. Bobby Thigpen now sharing the top spot with Dave Righetti, one better than Quisenberry, Sutter, and the Eck, who, by the way, could also break the old Righetti record this 1990 season.
It's our final Bud Summer Update. And your last chance to win a Bud Label pool. Just look for this handsome display wherever you buy 12 packs of Budweiser, Bud Light, and Bud Dry. And get a Bud deck chair at a special price. Whoops. I'm out! Here's to a great Bud Summer. Hey, so here's to a great Bud Summer.
Domino's Pizza Feast.
It's here, the Deluxe Pizza Feast. Buy a Deluxe Pizza Feast pan or original for just $9.99 and get another one for only $4 more.
It's time for Domino's Pizza.
Yeah. Call now.
Pizza Feast.
Well, my husband sees me eating a bowl of Cheerios one morning and asks me what's up. Hey, you never ate Cheerios before, he said. Well, I never knew nutrition could be simple, I told him. Come on, there's nothing simple about nutrition, he said. But that's the whole point, I told him.
What?
Look, Cheerios is whole grain oats with all the oat bran. It's nutrition made simple. I think he got the point. One never knows.
We tested STP oil treatment under the worst possible conditions. In the taxi cabs of New York City. The result? Engine lift wear was reduced by up to 50%. And now there's an STP for your newer car, too.
ESPN Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light.
The wrong man in the wrong place at the wrong time. The perfect description of the Yankees' Andy Hawkins in Fenway Park anytime the Boston Red Sox are batting. Hawkins got bombed again today in under an inning. The blazing Red Sox won their 9th in a row, 15-1 over the Yankees. After a walk to Alex, this is Tony Pena doing the Louis Tiant number in the bullpen. Hawkins was pitching to Ellis Burks early, and Burks hit one over the Green Monster, first of 2 dingers on the day for Ellis. Meanwhile, the Yankees lost 2 outfielders in this game. That's Mel Hall going head and shoulders into the left field wall on Boggs' double. 2 batters later, Greenwell rips one down the line and right. Barfield comes over, tries to field it, falls, twists a knee, and by the time he hobbles over after the ball, Greenwell comes around, tags them all for, yes, an inside the park grand slam. And you say lightning cannot strike twice? Last year, Greg Cadaret pitching for the Yankees. Greenwell hits this one off the wall. Roberto Kelly gets tangled in his own feet. And once again, Greeny gets to go around the bases for an inside the park grand slam. Second in as many years, both times for the Red Sox star against the Yankees. This last year, you earlier saw the one from today. Ellis Burks, 2 home runs, his 18th of the year, 17 and 18, I should say, 4 RBIs. Greenwell went 4 for 5. He's now 14 of his last 28. Had 5 RBIs on the day. Boggs and Brunansky, 3 hits apiece. Bruno had his 9th home run. Mike Boddicker won his 3rd straight, went 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. Andy Hawkins lasted a third of an inning, 5 hits and 5 runs, but that actually helped his ERA in Fenway. He's had 3 starts there, lasted a total of 1 inning, 13 hits, 18 runs. That makes his ERA for Fenway Park 162.00. How neat. How to make a slumbering Blue Jay wake up to show him a Cleveland Indian. Jay is going for 3 in a row over Don McNamara's tribe. Kelly Gruber, who had no home runs in August, starts out September with his 24th off Tom Candiotti. 4-0 Toronto. Todd Stottlemyre getting some great defense here from Manny Lee, who flags down Jerry Brown's hit that was actually, as you saw, by him. And he throws Brown out at first. Star of the day, Fred McGriff, 9th inning here. Kiss it goodbye off Charles Nagy. 29th home run of the year for Fred, part of a 5-for-5 day for McGriff. Quite a day as Toronto blasted Cleveland 8-0. By the way, for Cleveland, Alex Cole had 3 hits and stole his 23rd base, and he's only been in the bigs about a month now. Stottlemyre, 7 1/3 shutout innings. Candelaria finished up for the Jays. In Minnesota, the Tigers continued on their slugging ways. They beat Minnesota 9-5. Randy Nosek got the win. Alan Anderson took his, 17th loss of the season. In Milwaukee, Orioles and Brewers, and that's in the 9th inning with the Brewers leading the O's 4-3. Kurt Schilling on in relief of Big Ben McDonald for Baltimore. He could lose his 4th in a row after winning 5 straight. Dan Plesac is pitching after Ted Aguirre got the start for Milwaukee. Kittle had the solo dinger, and Yount a 2-run single for the Brewers, who lead it 4-3. In Seattle, they're in the 4th inning, scoreless ball game. Chris Cotteroli, first Major League start in 2 years, pitching for Kansas City now, and Russ Swan is pitching for the Mariners, scoreless in the 4th inning. Ray, a lot of wheeling and dealing in the American League, but conspicuous by their absence from all this, the Toronto Blue Jays. They did get Candelaria a couple of weeks ago, but he's hardly a guy who's going to make them pennant winners. You have to wonder whether Pat Gillick has simply cashed this season in.
Well, you know, they call him Stan Pat, and I don't think they do that for nothing. All those years he had great young talent. He didn't have to make moves, but then he went out and got Flanagan 2 years ago, and he really added a presence in that clubhouse, taught the young pitchers about winning. Last year went out and acquired Mookie Wilson, which was really a spark plug for that ball team. The stolen bases, the enthusiasm, hitting over 320, just a great addition to that ball club. This year you say, well, why didn't they make a move? Why didn't they do something to shore up that pitching staff? They moved Dave Wells out of the bullpen. Dwayne Ward really struggled. They had a dire need for a pitcher. They go out and acquire John Candelaria, but Candelaria 2 years ago would have been a great addition, but this late in the season, not much help.
Meanwhile, the Bo Sox, who seem to be wrapping things up in the East, did add a pitcher, and a considerable one. Larry Anderson's been one of the most consistent setup men in the National League the last 5 years.
Well, Larry Anderson can pitch. He brings a great enthusiasm to the game. He's a happy-go-lucky guy, always smiling, always wearing those funny-looking masks to the ballpark, just really lightening a team up. This team has really struggled pitching early on, in the bullpen especially. Lately, all those young pitchers have done well. Greg Harris, not young, but 12-5. Jeff Gray's just been superb out of the bullpen. But once they lost Lee Smith, traded Lee Smith, and they lost Reardon to the back problem, they tried Rob Murphy. He really struggled. They were in dire need of one pitcher. They went out and got Larry Anderson, and this may be Lou Gorman's biggest move because this guy can really help this ball club.
But speaking of big moves, Oakland A's add not one but 2 all-star quality players, designated hitter Harold Baines, center fielder Willie McGee. All you can say is, wow.
Unbelievable. I don't know how these guys do it. All I know is Sandy Alderson and Tony La Russa work better together than any other GM and manager in all of baseball. Every time there's a need, these guys go out and fill it. You think of Willie Randolph coming in there after they lost Tony Phillips, Gallego having the job but struggling a little bit. They come in, they lose Storm Davis, they come back with Scott Sanderson. Now all of a sudden they're able to go out and get a guy who, in my estimation, has always been one of the top 5 left-handed hitters in all of baseball, in Harold Baines. It makes you kind of forget about Dave Parker, although he's putting together a great year in Milwaukee. And Willie McGee, how can you explain Willie McGee? Here's a guy that's hitting .335 in the National League, one-time MVP, a guy that switch hits, was a great defensive center fielder, winning the Gold Glove out there. And these guys winning 2 pennants in a row, 2 world champions. With these additions, they liable to win 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think the word is dynasty. Still to come on Baseball Tonight, we've got late action from the National League. And we'll remember a very sad baseball yesterday. It was a year ago that Commissioner Bart Giamatti suddenly succumbed to a heart attack. First, though, this reminder. Right after Baseball Tonight, Bill Patrick and Eric Clemens bring you Sports Center. The first big weekend of college football. The Nebraska Cornhuskers kicking things off. And at the U.S. Open Tennis, Michael Chang living a little too dangerously. All the sports news on Sports Center.
A lot of the dreams I had as a kid growing up in Grand Island have come true for me. As a Cornhusker, and now as a member of the world champion San Francisco 49ers. I have traveled back and forth across this country many times. I could buy a car anywhere, but of all these places, I'd rather go back home to Hamilton's. You don't have to be wearing a Super Bowl ring to be treated like someone special. Hamilton Chevrolet in Grand Island is my hometown dealer.
After you've produced the yearly report in record time, after you've made order out of paperwork chaos, after you've turned the slideshow into a colorful part of your winning proposal, and seen productivity become top priority, maybe after all that you'll know why Canon is the most popular copier in America. From personal to color laser copying, the choice is Canon.
See these outstanding products at Modern Methods in Lincoln or these other Nebraska offices.
Domino's Pizza Feast.
It's here, the Deluxe Pizza Feast. Buy a Deluxe Pizza Feast, pan or original, for just $9.99 and get another one for only $4 more.
It's time for Domino's Pizza.
Yeah. Call now.
Pizza Feast.
Sunday night, it's one of baseball's greatest rivalries. The Red Sox continue their pennant drive. The Yankees try to spoil the trip. It's Sunday Night Baseball, live at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
Baseball Tonight.
The National League's two last-place teams met tonight, but things appeared to be far from equal. The last-placed Cards were 60-70 and just half a game out of fifth and had won 2 in a row. The last-place Braves were 50-80, 8.5 games behind Houston, and had lost 2 in a row. So what happened? Well, you guessed it, Atlanta wins, but let's take a look at how. Bottom of the 8th, 1 out. Cardinals lead 2-1, but Ken Hill is in trouble as Ron Gant smacks a single up the middle. That scores Otoby McDowell and ties the ball game at 2. So the Cards call on Ken Daly, and he's pitching to Francisco Cabrera, who hits it right back to him, but Daly falls down, gets up, throws in what looked to be in time, but the ball was muffed at the plate by the catcher. The run scores. Braves took a 3-2, eventually 4-2 lead, and they needed it because in the 9th inning, Rex Hudler pinch hit a home run to close it to 4-3, but the Braves made that one stand up. Tony Castillo got the win. Paul Merrick, the rookie, went 7 1/3 for Atlanta in his debut, 8 hits, 2 runs, and he got praise, although no decision. He got praise from manager Joe Torre of the Cardinals. Lonnie Smith went 3 for 3 for Atlanta. Jose Oquendo, 3 hits for the Cardinals. And Vince Coleman, who leads the majors, stole his 77th base. In Philadelphia, John Kruk knocked in the game winner in the first game as the Phillies won in 10 innings over San Diego 3-2. Joe Baver pitched 3 relief innings to get his 3rd win. Greg Harris lost for the 2nd night in a row. Dale Murphy had a triple and single and extended his hitting streak to 11 games. In the second game in Philadelphia, it is a home run by Roberto Alomar that has given the Padres a 1-0 lead. That game is in the 6th inning. Tommy Green pitching for Philadelphia against Derek Lilliquist, a couple of Braves of the future whose presents are on other ball clubs. Coming up, a remembrance of that sad, shocking baseball yesterday, a year ago, when Bart Giamatti died. Right now, though, let's take a look at today's home run heroes in Major League Baseball.
Are these the international rules?
He's going for a word he knows. He's going for a 2-syllable word. Ladies and gentlemen.
Across. Europe. 426. It's a continent.
Just stick with 1-syllable words. He's fine. Hold your hand right there.
Okay. Mumbly Peg. Mumbly Peg with darts. Okay.
Levi's 100% cotton Dockers. If they're not Dockers, they're just pants.
You guys have any food?
Dun, dun, dun,
Killer shark.
dun, dun.
I think you should go back to
the office. Do you think the wave needs work?
Baseball is a game that I grew up on. And though I love the teams that play today, I like to think of the summers when I was younger and every player seemed a giant in some way.
The Cooperstown Collection. Authentic recreations of the uniforms and memories of summers past.
A part of baseball you can call your own.
The preceding was furnished by Major League Baseball.
All right, show us what you got. Step in there now. Let's go. Knock it out.
Get into a new thing. Highway. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Fight the right thing. Come on and do some highway. Get into a new thing.
10 for 10. You finally found a speed you can handle.
Fried chicken.
New spicy, zesty hot wings. Nobody's cooking like today's KFC.
Bart Giamatti's term as commissioner was brief and stormy, but his impact was calming and cheering. A scholar, a poet, a leader. Bart Giamatti passed away a year ago, as Warner Fussell now reminds us.
Bart Giamatti had a lifelong love affair with baseball. He often wrote about the game and thought himself lucky to be National League president and then commissioner. Giamatti had come to prominence at Yale University, and though he spent most of his adult life in academia, his heart belonged to greener pastures.
When Bart Giamatti was made president of Yale, at a news conference they had at that time, he said he was surprised that he'd been named president of the university, that all he'd ever really dreamed about being was president of the American League. I was president of the American League at the time, so I wrote him a little note and said I'd heard his news conference, and I offered to trade jobs with him.
Giamatti succeeded Peter Ueberroth as commissioner in the spring of '89, and while he loved mingling with his boyhood heroes, Giamatti's tenure was marked by the suspension of Pete Rose. The ordeal's final postscript came a week later when Giamatti died of a heart attack.
Bart Giamatti was a close friend of mine for many, many years. I do want to pay my respects. He was a great person. He loved the game of baseball.
Obviously, the first reaction was, I hope he was all right. And then we heard that he had died. It's a terrific blow. It's very hard to articulate. One can say one is shocked and devastated. Those words don't really carry it. This is a terrific blow.
Giamatti was commissioner for only 5 months.
He was a wonderful man, and he had a great love for the sport. I think he would have been an absolutely great commissioner. And it's just too sad that we had to lose him as early as we did.
Yesterday is brought to you by Levi's Dockers. If they're not Dockers, they're just pants.
I'm going to review today's scores very briefly here. 86, 94, 92, and one hieroglyph. That's before we got to the back nine.
I didn't think anybody was keeping score today.
All I'm right. It says here that on the third hole you hit, I don't know, you...
A 90-yard putt.
I do. It wasn't a flash. It isn't.
Levi's 100% cotton Dockers. If they're not Dockers, they're just pants.
Oh, there you go! Toss me the towel, please, Darnell.
Live on stage for the first time, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles!
It's not the movie soundtrack, dudes. This is rock and roll. Now get your kids their hot new audio cassette and concert tour book for $3.99, only at Pizza Hut. Why Pizza Hut?
Because they don't sell pizza in record stores, dude. Pizza Hut,
We tested STP oil treatment under the worst possible conditions. In the taxi cabs of New York City. The result? Engine lift wear was reduced by up to 50%. And now there's an STP for your newer car, too.
Christian Okoye is tough to tackle, but no one tackles a tough NFL story better than the Emmy Award-winning hour-long NFL Game Day, premiering Sunday, September 9th at the new time of noon Eastern on ESPN.
ESPN Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Pizza Hut, home of pan pizza that's winning the hearts of America. Pizza Hut, making it great.
For the second night in a row in the Astrodome, Houston comes from behind and beats Pittsburgh, this time in the 10th inning with a single in the bottom of the 10th by Tuffy Rhodes. Knocked in Craig Biggio, and Houston beats Pittsburgh 2-1. That puts the Mets half game up in the National League East, but plenty of action coming up tomorrow. That's our story for tonight. For Ray Knight, I'm Dave Marriott. We want to thank you for being with us. Remind you that tomorrow night at 7, Peter Gammons joins us for the full hour Baseball Tonight, followed by Sunday Night Baseball, the New York Yankees at the Boston Red Sox. Sports Center's coming up next with Eric Clemens and Bill Patrick.